Hey y'all, good evening this week. Guess we finally made it to the end. I appreciate everybody's comments and things about my work. Hope my comments and things about your stuff were helpful as well. I'm looking forward to hanging out with most of you guys in the next term. This discussion this week is about professional landscape and things that we observed. As far as describing the landscape as I see it and where I fit in, professional publishing right now is probably larger than it's ever been. Um, you used to have an agent and shop your book around and have meetings and all these other things and try to get them to bite on it. But now the web's allowed for self-publishing, ebooks, blogs, websites, social media, and other things like that. So an author can actually be really successful taking all that into their own hands and using those new avenues versus traditional methods of publishing. Um, I think we all hope to have a book published by a big publishing house so they can do all that work for us. It'll also make our work available to so many more people. But having that option there in case those things don't work out is probably a good thing, at least as far as where I can see. As far as where I fit in, I see myself as a speculative fiction writer with a penchant for science fiction that usually borders on humorous. Sort of a pulp novel, B-movie type guy that likes to entertain. But my novels are not so deep that it consumes the reader, and they have to find themselves laughing at situations that my characters encounter. I do like biographical fiction. Hope to one day complete my own Texas trilogy, kind of like Larry McMurtry, if you guys read my post about authors that inspired me. Um, but while I'm establishing myself, I'm going to keep myself planted in science fiction and have some fun writing some of the crazy stories I've got floating around in this old shaved head of mine. Considering any specific opportunities I'm aware of, or writing contests. I've subscribed to several author websites. There's always opportunities to enter contests, but I don't. I think right now I'm more focused on getting my first novel done, trying the traditional way to publish and market myself, and then not worry about short story contests or e-publishing. I think that workshopping is going to play a significant part in my future success. There's a few workshopping groups that'll let me in with limited experiences, but most of those serious ones are, closed, and they only want experienced authors. At this point, discussions here about craft elements, being able to discuss at a high-level conversation the aspects of writing with others here in the class, as well as upcoming classes that we're going to be in, is what I'm going to use to help me finish my novel and then send it out to publication. Comparing experience of reading the two books that we had instead of reading one. The two books was definitely a stretch. Frankenstein's just a great novel, but it's not my go-to when I look for a type of novel to read. Definitely had craft elements that were important to see how Shelley used them, and I definitely made a lot of notes from my writer's toolbox. Nova was just a letdown to me on several levels. I think you guys have noticed that from some of the things I've written. Most of my notes on that book are don't do this. As far as which the two books is more like my own writing, I have to say neither of them are. I don't and probably will not ever write like Shelley. And as I mentioned before, Fortune's style just doesn't work out for me. Observations related to publishing. There's a lot out there I'm still not familiar with because of my inexperience. But since I've never been published, I don't have any practical experience there, so everything I have is observation. Did any of the books we discussed expose myself to new ideas or genres? There were a few, the last module I made notes to check out, like Cassandra Clare and Hanya Yagahari, I guess is how you said it. I wrote it down so I don't hurt myself trying to say it. I'm really more like a sponge at this point, trying to soak everything up. And I don't think that anything will affect my publishing pathway like a different genre at this point, but I'm going to remain open to suggestions and possibilities as I look to get published. So you guys have a great one, and looking forward to seeing your comments this week.